If you travel in or live in the southeastern part of the United States, you're probably well aware that crappie fishing is the most popular fishing sport in that part of the country. And most of the popularity centers around the mecca of all crappie fishing. It's Grenada Lake, Mississippi, and we'll tell you why on this week's show. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Sports South.
I don't know if you're aware or not, but the largest crappie that swim in United States waters swim in the Magnolia State of Mississippi. I also don't know if you're aware that the largest crappie that swim in the state of Mississippi are in Grenada Lake. This lake is situated just east of I-55, the north-south corridor that runs from Jackson all the way up to Memphis. It's a flood control lake controlled by the Corps of Engineers, and it grows some absolute super-sized crappie. On today's show, we're going to launch the Nitro Z8 out into Grenada Lake. First time I've ever been here, do a little exploring. Bo Hudson, who guides on this lake, is going to be joining us and showing us around a little bit. And we'll show you a fantastic technique that a lot of the people here around Mississippi use to locate and catch a bunch of these oversized crappie here at Grenada Lake. It's going to be a lot of fun. In the meantime, we're taking you around your local area for your weekly fishing and lake reports from our expert team of insider reporters. Hey, I'm glad you're with us today. You're in for a treat the next half hour, but right now we get the whole thing started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
Hi everyone, the fishing outlook appears much better for Saturday this weekend than for Sunday. Overall, the Solinar tables are indicating excellent game fish activity on Saturday, with peak hours beginning early at 4:47 a.m. and again at 5:11 p.m. Look for the sun to rise at 6:55 and set at 8:04, and evenings will feature a moon that is 60% visible. We'll be right back with freshwater and coastal fishing updates from around the region. Plus, Wally Marshall stops by to talk crappie fishing on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Lew's, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
I got one. Oh, that's a decent fish. Come here, buddy. There we go. I got one of them. Okay, there's a start. Welcome back, everybody. We've made it out on the lake, and there's a good crappie to start it off for you, right there. Well, we're on Grenada, and crappie have to be 12 inches long here to be kept. If that doesn't tell you how serious the big crappie fishing is along these lakes here, but particularly here on Grenada. I mentioned the I-55 corridor, starting at the very top. There's Sardis is the first big one. Then you've got Enid, then you've got Grenada, and then Ross Barnett. All of these are flood control lakes. We'll talk some more about this later, but the water here is pretty off color. If you're used to fishing clear water, this is pretty muddy in here. But the fish live here, they're used to it, they swim here, they eat here, and they will definitely bite. So that gets you started right there on a big Grenada crappie. That's not one of the giants, but it's certainly a really good crappie where I come from, that's for sure. We'll put him in the live well and get you set up. Grenada's 35,000 acres, and I'll tell you this, there's only 48 miles of shoreline, and what that tells you is it's not a lot of shoreline features, not a lot of creeks and stuff coming in. It's got two major arms and one major river that feeds down the middle of it. In our next segment, we'll tell you the parts of the lake and what to look for if you're going to catch some crappie. Right here on Lake Grenada, let's get you some more local fishing and lake reports from our insider reporter in your area.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas report. This week brought to you by Marshall's Marine, located in Lake City and Georgetown, South Carolina. We're your bass boat leader since 1969, and for all your nitro and bass tracker needs, visit www.marshallsmarine.com. going to stay in the saltwater side of things for a while today. There's a lot of things going on from inshore to offshore. Right now, the Spanish mackerel on the beaches in the Carolinas is incredible. Get out on the surf, a pier, or in a boat, trolling those nearshore reefs and the beaches as well. Put a drone spoon out on a #1 planer or a Clark spoon, and also throw that behind a bird as well. If you want to get some action on some bigger fish, put a bird on the surface back behind the boat and get ready for some great action. On the nearshore reefs, the Spanish mackerel are a little bit bigger, 3, 4, and 5 pounders. Put out some live bait or some big cigar minnows, and you're going to have a great action out there with the Spanish mackerel as well. And speaking of which, we've got the 5th annual Sea Hunt Boats Marine Service Center Spanish Mackerel Derby coming to Murrells Inlet August 28th and 29th. Come to the captain's meeting on the 28th at the Mullet Hut to register for your chance to win $5,000 for the largest Spanish mackerel. In the freshwater side of things, my good friends Jackson and Chris Denny went up to the Broad River and got on that small bass fishery last week with the Broad River Guide Service up there. They had a great time, and it's a fishery, again, that's really not well known in the South and the Southeast, but it's a great fishery to get out, and there's several groups that can guide you down that river to go fight with these formidable foes over on the river. And also, Stevie Pack over at Pack's Landing says that the catfish bite continues to be really good, and they're catching a lot of brim and shellcracker still.
Feels like a good pull. There he comes. Oh, nice black looking crappie right here. That is a beautiful fish. Hey, that's a good specimen right there. That's a darker colored one. There's a good Grenada crappie for you right there. Hitting my Bobby Garland slab doctors is what they're biting right now. All right, we're gonna take a quick break for a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're gonna try to do some more of this. Got a lot of wind, got a few thunderstorms coming up, but got some fish moving. So you folks, be sure, sign up to follow our Twitter feed. We're giving away lots of great prizes, and we're putting all the big fish photos that come in, all the lake records that get broken, all the fishing news gets put up first on our Twitter feed. Join Twitter for free and follow us. You'll be the first to know all the fishing news. Watching this setup here, we've got a good spread. We're spider rigging today on Grenada, and I want to talk to you a little bit about where we're fishing. Well, that's a bite right there. I want to talk to you about where we're fishing and what we're doing. But first, let me see about, oh, that's a good crappie. Oh yeah, that's another big one. That's another big one. Get in this net. Yeah, man, look at this. Holy cow, these fish are huge in this lake. Look at that. Good grief. Look at the belly on that crappie. And look at the mouth. I can almost put my hand in that crappie's mouth. It's so big. Man, I'll tell you, we're going to just slap him on the scale just to give you some idea of how much these crappie weigh. I've caught a couple of these already. But first, let me tell you this. The Yalabusha River feeds this lake. Most of the year, these fish stay out off the river channel. So this channel makes a nice ledge, and they pull little crankbaits and they spider rig and they long line up and down that ledge, and that's where they catch them most of the year. The spring, they move up shallow to spawn, and they'll get all the way up in a foot of water. In the fall, they'll move up shallower as well when the water cools, but the rest of the year, you gotta go find that river channel out there, just troll up and down it, and that's where these big boys live. Let's stick that on the scale right quick. Well, 2 pounds and 3 ounces, it looks like what that crappie weighs. So that's a good solid 2-pound slab right there. And that's, I'm telling you, that's an average fish for this lake right here. All right, we're putting him in the live well. So in this bad boy goes. And that gives you some idea of how you can catch them. You really need to get you some spider rigging long poles, 14 footers and 11 footers. I'll tell you about that a little bit later on the Academy Right Stuff. Back to more fishing reports for you right now.
This part of the program is brought to you by Coastal Georgia Inshore Charters on St. Simon's Island, Georgia. Captain Tim Cutting is the man to see for Golden Isles family-style angling for flounder, redfish, sea trout, and other species too. Fishing has been great this week. I was talking to Captain Patrick Garmison in Alabama. He fishes Mobile Bay and the Ship Channel area right there around Mobile. He says flounder fishing is improving daily. Fish are getting a little bit bigger, but they're a little picky on what kind of baits they're taking. In other words, you'll find some flounder that only want to eat, say, finger mullet. And you can catch them on finger mullet in that particular location. You move a little bit, try finger mullet, you don't do so well. But if you try shrimp or small live menhaden, you can do well that way too. Plenty of them, but keep moving and try different baits and lures. In Mississippi, Captain Sonny Schindler in far western Mississippi along the coast, he says that fishing's been very good in Bay St. Louis when you can get there. Sometimes it's tough getting there. But Bay St. Louis trout fishing has been great. You got to look for slicks, look for leaping, bubbling shrimp on the surface, and cast popping corks with grub jigs. Pop it along and you'll catch plenty of trout. Over in Georgia, tarpon continued to be real good in the southeast part of the state, around St. Simon's Island, Jekyll Island. Captain Greg Hildreth is doing well, and plenty of sharks. Captain Tim Cutting is catching lots of flounder in that Sea Island area. He looks for oyster shell areas, casting grub jigs, works them slow, and he's catching a lot of flounder. Most of them are small, but they're going to get bigger in size as we get more toward the fall. Well, that's it for the Coastal South. Get out on the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report is brought to you by Gadsden, Alabama. One of Northeast Alabama's premier tournament bass fisheries, Gadsden, Alabama gives the angler everything you could need close by. Convenient boat ramps, hotels, and dining make the Coosa River and Neely Henry Lake experience one to remember. Now, you know we're having a blistering summer when temperatures drop into the mid-80s and we consider it a cool snap. But that's what you find this week across much of the South. So rather than complain about the heat, let's just go fishing. Southwest Mississippi's Lake Calling Panther is a good place to find some largemouth bass this week. The lake's near Crystal Springs. It covers 500 acres and it's a state fishing lake. It's also one of the state's deepest, dropping down to 45 feet deep near the dam. When it's hot like this, the bass stack up in the depths, making them easier to find. A good place to be looking for them is in the standing timber along the Old Creek Channel in the northeast upper end of the lake. Depths here go down to 20 to 25 feet deep. A good pattern is to use finesse tactics with a big creature bait or a plastic worm. Another option is throwing medium to deep diving crankbaits and running them right along the channel. Now these Florida strain largemouths run big in the lake. In fact, the lake record weighed 15.4 pounds. Another way to beat the heat is head up into northeast Georgia's mountains for some walleye fishing on some of the upland reservoirs. Rabun, Seed, Tugaloo, and Yonah are 4 of those, and they're all on the Tugaloo or Tallulah rivers, and they all hold walleyes. You want to be slow trolling a live blueback herring or an earthworm around structure in the deepest parts of these small lakes. But you need to keep that bait very near the bottom to get strikes. For some crappie action right now in Alabama, try fishing under the bridges on West Point Lake on the Chattahoochee River, and particularly after dark. Using live minnows is better this time of year than tossing jigs.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Bite it. There's a bite right there. Oh yeah, that's another one of those good pulls right there. Oh, good one. Good one. Let me get this net. Got him. Oh yeah. Man, look at that pig, will you? Oh, wow. Well, there's another Grenada crappie for you. Let me talk to you just a minute about, by the way, that's a big slab slayer right there, Bobby Garland. Black and yellow is that color. That's the color he said really works well here. If you want to come do some of this here at Grenada or at Enid or at Sardis or at Lake Washington, all these are home of huge crappie, then you can do that by contacting Bo Hudson and Brad Chappell at their guide service. They've got a Facebook page. They don't have a website, they've got a Facebook page. So we'll put the information up on your screen right now. You can book a guide trip and they'll come spider rigging, long lining, pulling crankbaits, whatever they have to do to put you on some of these fantastic, in this case, Grenada crappie. Now I want to tell you one more story. There was a huge crappie caught just this past spring. Late in the spring they had a tournament here. And a 10-year-old boy, great story, caught a crappie that weighed, I think, an ounce or maybe 2 ounces short of 4 pounds. The boy that caught it, his mom was killed in a tornado here somewhere in this area not too long ago, and the mom actually sheltered the kids with her body, and then she was killed. Very tragic story. This boy that was saved by his mom actually caught the gigantic fish and won a few $1,000s in this tournament here on Grenada with that crappie that weighed nearly 4 pounds, and that's a picture of what that crappie looked like right there. All right, I want to show you something. See that gold colored line right there? That is the new Stren Crappie Mono, and it is the thinnest, strongest, most abrasion resistant crappie monofilament line that's ever been invented. These people have put a lot of technology into this, a lot of research. It comes in clear and it comes in this high-vis gold color. This stuff is unbelievable, and that gold color lets you watch your line and you can see your strikes. Look for it on your tackle store shelf. It's the Stren Crappie Mono in either the high-vis gold color or the clear. All right, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports from your local area.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. We're going to talk about one thing and one thing only this week, and that is grass. It's hot, it's August, there's just thermocline, the water temperature's high, you got all kinds of stuff that make the bass lethargic. But this stuff right here, this big green salad bar behind me, this is the great equalizer. What this is matted hydrilla. I'm on the Tennessee River, and from East Tennessee up into Kentucky, the Tennessee River is just chock full of hydrilla, of milfoil, and what it does is it offers shade, it offers cover, it offers oxygen, there's tons of bait, it offers a bass a wonderful place to ambush prey, and it's basically everything that a bass needs to be comfortable. They're looking for the same things we are. They want to be comfortable, they want to be cool, and they want to have plenty to eat, and this matted hydrilla is the way to go. So get you a topwater bait, throw on it, throw around it, throw to the holes in it, get you a piece of plastic and a big tungsten weight and punch through it. It's cavernous underneath, and those bass will kind of set up underneath there. Or just get you a worm and sit back off the edge of it, throw to it, and fish it back into deeper water. I'm in about 3 feet of water, and this stuff runs all the way out to about 15, right to the river channel, and then it kind of dies out as the river channel falls off. But guys, find you some grass, just stay after it, and when you find a wad of them, there's generally a bunch. Guys, we'd love to see you on the water in Tennessee and Kentucky. God bless.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional anglers. This week's question comes from Jeffrey, who asks, do crappies stay near bridge pilings all year long? If so, what is the best way to catch them? For the answer, we checked with expert crappie fisherman Wally Marshall.
That was a great question there, man. I'm talking about, I love to fish bridge pilings year round. And yes, crappie do hang on bridge pilings year round because it has that vertical structure, a lot of shade, especially in the summertime. Early morning, I'm talking right at daylight, you can slaughter the crappie up until about 9:30 every day. In the summer, wintertime months, they're there too. They're down near the bottom. What I like to do is use my side imaging, and I'll go down along those columns, and I can shoot to the side and see which columns has the crappie on it and the exact depth they're hanging out. Great question, man.
Thanks, Wally. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now it's time for the Costa Catch of the Week, in which someone is going to win a brand new pair of sunglasses.
Hey, it's time for someone to win a free pair of Costa sunglasses in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. This week's winner is Mike Hayes of Jacksonville, Florida, showing off a 30-pound redfish he caught out of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, using a popping cork and shrimp. If you'd like to be our next Costa Catch of the Week winner, your chance begins when you go to foxsportsoutdoors.com, and on the right-hand side of the front page, clicking on the Costa Catch of the Week area, send us your big fish photo and you could be our next winner. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website by going back to the front page of our site Clicking on the Coastal logo, you can see all of the great styles there, including the one I was wearing on this week's episode called Cortez. Next up on the Academy Right Stuff, you'll need some specialized gear if you want to go out and spider rig for some of these big crappie like we did this week. And it begins with the Lew's Wally Marshall Troll Tech trolling rod. These are spider rigging rods, long lining and pulling crankbaits anywhere from 11 to 14 feet long is what you'll need. 3 other things. You're going to need a long handled net, probably even longer than this one, to reach way out there and net those crappie with these long rods. You'll need a good rod holder. That's a Be Ready, but also Atwood makes some good ones. Wally Marshall makes some good ones as well. And finally, you're going to need a windsock, something to slow your boat drift down as you're drifting across these bays, creeks, and down these creek channels. Your trolling motor will do a great job of it, but it's much easier if you'll just slow yourself down by throwing out a windsock. Here's my attempt at writing poetry. I have seen heroes, but not the flashy ones. Not the kind who can dunk one-handed or sing a country tune or sink a 50-foot putt or build a computer empire. Not the kind who bask in adoration, not the pampered who are praised. I have seen heroes firsthand, in person, up close, but not dancers of dance or singers of songs, not athletes or businessmen in suits. Real heroes who give not get, who never bask in the spotlight, never cash the big check, never hear the crowds roar, yet whose gifts matter, mean something, make a difference. Heroes who can hold a child's hand, who can be the dad who wasn't there or the mom who didn't care, who can put themselves in harm's way for others and just say they're doing their job, who can place someone else's needs above their own. They're policemen, firemen, hospital workers, social workers, soldiers. They're all around us, but unsung. Yes, I know heroes, but not the ones you might think. Hey, I hope you enjoyed our trip to beautiful Grenada Lake, home of the giant crappie in Mississippi. And I want to just give you some idea of how big these crappie are. And this is just a portion of what we actually caught today. These crappie in this lake are just absolutely the biggest crappie I've ever seen anywhere. And I've done a whole bunch of crappie fishing in my life, but I don't think I've ever seen this many big fish in one location. And I wanted to just give you a little look at what some of these huge crappie look like. And again, they're all over 2 pounds and they go up to 4 pounds in this lake. What a fantastic place to come fishing. If you want to book a guide trip, call Brad Chappell or Bo Hudson, the phone number that we gave you a little earlier. Hey, don't forget that our show will be on next Thursday at 6 p.m. with the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And don't forget, our latest episode is always up 24/7 on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. And below that, you can always catch up on our past episodes by clicking on Past Episodes and More Video here. Don't forget to follow us on our Twitter feed for great prize giveaways and all the latest fishing news and information. From Grenada Lake, Mississippi, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye.